All right, well, welcome back. Glad to introduce to you Stelios Logothetis, Dr. Stelios Logothetis. He's a man of many different roles, a scientist, a university professor, a researcher, a farmer, an artist or an artisan of wine. He's behind many liquid creations you and I, at some point in our lives, have drunk or drink more frequently. So we're very, very excited. Thank you very much for coming.
Thank you.
To spend this Saturday afternoon of yours with us. The floor is yours.
So, good evening. I have put the name in my lecture, Career Complexity. As you can see, I have two titles, Oenologist and Industrial Fermentation Biotechnologist. These two going together. I was thinking how to represent myself, and I will take you with me in my life journey. Born and grew up at Elefsina, a hard-working city with heavy industry, the heaviest in Greece. 1970, so I'm 42 years old. I'm not too young, as I look. From the age of 19, I was working as a bartender. So very early, I have a close contact with alcohol. Good or bad, we'll see in the future. From 1997 till now, I have been working in wine industry. And let's go at the first chapter. 1989 to 1997. I was a student at TI of Athens Department of Enology and Spirit Technology. And please keep the first name, Professor Elias Nerangis. At some point in your career and in your life, and some persons that will be the main persons who have a major role in your career. Bartender in Athens and in Santorini. What gave me? Living alone from very early, 90 years old, living alone. Financial independence and future scheduling. So, from the age of 19, I was living alone. I have my own money to do everything I want and scheduling my future. But with all this, at the end of the first chapter, 1996 to 1997, I've been in Ambertay of Dundee University to be a research student there for 1 year under Professor Graham Walker. Keep the second name. So we have two names. One is a Greek professor and one a Scottish one. How we can mix the two persons? I don't know. We'll see. Okay. Oop. This is the second chapter, 1997 to 2002. My first job, production manager at Amphissa Winery. You know where is Amphissa? Near Delphi, a small country town with 10,000 people and one winery in the old state of Okida. I was an owner of wine analysis laboratory there. So, again, independency. The guys there, they don't have money to pay me, so told me, okay, take the laboratory, working, and take the money. It's the Greek way to pay your employment. Huh? Very easy. At the same time, during the summer times, I was working at Privilege bar restaurant. You know Privilege, I assume, no?
We had the privilege.
You had the privilege. As a sommelier in the restaurant. Okay. And I had the first contact with the wine world and production. That means analysis, promotion, like sommelier, you need to promote your wines, tell the people to take it, drink it with their food. Tasting, a lot of tasting. Every Monday I had about 30 to 40 samples of wines. They want to be in the catalog of the restaurant. Wine market, you just learn all the market of wine around Greece. All the industries want to be in a great bar restaurant, to have a promotion, to have a good name, okay? And product development, flashing. Okay, sorry. Product development. Look at the three parts: analysis, production, and sommelier. So, all the three together in one. But all this go to product development, okay? And you see the small animals there, they are yeast. 2002 to, we'll see, still running is the third part. We have here 2002, a Sokos winery, a huge winery, produced about 300,000 liters of wine per year. 300,000 liters of wine per year. Registration for a part-time MPhil PhD at the University of Aberdeen, Dundee. 2004, Kyriani production manager at Kyriani SA in Nausa and in Amindo, in the two industries. 2005, creating a consulting company regarding wine production. The name is SS Logothetis. Not SS like Germans, okay, because they are very popular now. 2006, starting to write for Inoho's wine magazine of Kathimerini. 2009, graduation. That's because it's bounding, you know. 2010, adjunct lecturer of industrial fermentation biotechnology at TIF Athens. And 2010, the creation of my own wines, the first wine. Okay, why all that? What's the reason? To know everything about me. Let's see. A bottle of wine, a glass, and some arrows. And let's start the journey of the simplicity of complexity. Something complex is very simple, okay? And let's start what we see before. Bartending. It's easy, you think, to work as a bartender. Getting famous, a lot of people, a lot of friends. For the boys, a lot of girls, a lot of drink. Arrow. But you can get the consumer behavior. That's the first point. Drives you to the bottle. Why the consumer's behavior at the bars change? You can see people during the day, they have some specific attitude. And during the night, changing 100%. Why? It's the bottle makes the difference. Sometimes we are thinking, we have a very tired day, we're going back to our home, and we are thinking, let's have a malt, a vodka, or a bottle of wine, or a glass of wine, just to relax. Okay. So, bartending, consumer behavior drives you to the product. Then study to TI, Technological Education Institute. Arrow, knowledge. Knowledge about what? About the wine. So we have two. The people behavior about specific product and the knowledge for the product. Sommelier. Market behavior. Regarding the product, promotion, public relations, wine tasting. All this about the product again. PhD. Why? If you are working in the industry, you have a good money, you have good relations, public relations, you know the market, why you are going to do a PhD? Intra-knowledge. About what? Research, product improvement, new technologies about the product and the production, and benefits. Benefits about what? Benefits to know the new technologies, to be up to date every day about the production, about the market, about everything. You need to know everything is going to happen and everything is happening today and perhaps tomorrow, before tomorrow comes. About the wine, again, about the alcohol. Industry. Working in industry is the real world. All the others, it's very, about yourself. You have the knowledge, you study, you're a good student, you make a PhD, you have the research background, but what is happening in the real world? That's the main point. To go in the real world regarding again the wine production, regarding again the product. But industry goes to teaching. Teaching at TI. Why teaching? Because you need to know what is happening with the new generations, about the students who will be in the market, will be in the industry after 3 or 4 years. Teaching goes to knowledge transportation that gives you self-completion. If you know something, you need to transport it to the other minds. Just triggering the minds to do something about that. Triggering the souls of the students to be in the right path. To know for the first year if to be an oenologist is the right thing for them or not. Here's an arrow from sommelier to teaching. You need to transport the knowledge about the people behavior, about your relations, and transport them to the other people. Research and knowledge is for everyone. It's not too personal. You need to split it. You need to cut it to the other people and give it to the other people. Another arrow. Public relation, promotion, wine tasting, and market behavior goes to the real world and to benefits. Benefits for yourself. Okay? And the new technologies from the research go to the real world, drives you to the industry. It's a little bit complicated, huh? That's a complexity. You need to have a complexity how you are thinking yourself in the real world after 2 or 3 years, in the real world, in the market, okay? And all this, of course not about what? Was all the above a part of a life plan? Of course not. You can plan it. You can schedule it. What's the secret? It's one secret. one big secret. It's to beating heart. Follow your heart, and it will lead you to the right path. That's the secret. Don't be afraid of anything. Do what your mind said to you to do and what your heart tells you. Follow your heart, not with Kathy's heart, okay? Follow your heart with a vodka, with a wine, not with Kathy's heart. It's an awful whiskey. It's a grain whiskey, believe me. Okay? That's the big secret. All this complexity of, for me, for go to TI, working in the market, working as a sommelier, bartending, make research, all writing as in a magazine, a wine magazine, all this, it's because my heart told me to do that. Don't schedule with your mind. Don't think the finance world. Don't think only your finance. Follow your heart. For sure, you will have a delay, a big delay of 2, 3, 4, 5, not 6 years. For 3 to 5 years, you will have a delay, but at the end, you will be, how can I say it, a complete person. The main project is to, after a career of 18 years, like mine, to be in the morning in the mirror and love yourself. Don't hate it. Love your work. Don't hate it. Love to be in your work. Because if you wake up one day and say to yourself, oh, I have to work to go. You are the loser. You are not the winning person. In our society, the winning person is the person who loves their jobs and try to do any second something new, to know about something new, to work, to create something new. Don't be, sorry for the word, a Greek employee. Every day, the same things for a lifetime. Please commit suicide now if you do something like that, because you are dead for the first moment. That's my opinion, and forgive me about that. But technology and research about technology is running in the other countries with huge speed. Huge speed. We are a little back. We need to run faster, but we can do it. So, if we follow our hearts, and if you follow what we love, regarding our jobs, regarding ourselves, don't forget that. And please remember, when you do something in your job, in some point in the world, in the global world, okay, there is someone clever than you who do the same exactly thing. You can't be the clever one, the cleverest one in the world. Someone is more clever than you. Please try to work to be like him. You don't know each other, but try to be like him. The question mark. Okay? Thank you. Short one.
Okay, following one's heart. Now you're involved in a business that most people don't make money.
Mm-hmm.
Most small estate owners, wine owners do not
make money. Yeah, of course.
That's why many estates and small estates in the world are run by people that do it for hobby. So my question is, okay, you can follow your heart and you can enjoy yourself throughout the year, you know, for producing, growing the grapes and making the wine. But then there is also the question of finance your business. It's also the question of make a living.
You can do that, of course. It's the main question is, what are you asking from your job? Go for a walk. For what reason? That's the main question. You want to be a chemist and to work in a chemical lab. Why? For what reason? What's the reason to do that? Need to ask yourself. Why? For the money? It's a very popular job. It's a fancy job. Why? Of course, in wines, all the winemakers, we are poor, very poor people. Some of them, they have a good life, the big ones. The wineries that started 40 years ago, especially in Greece, okay? That's why you can see small wineries, small industries. But believe me, you can live and you can have a very good life with this job. The only thing is, why you do that? You want to be very rich? Why? Drink for the money? You want to be a popular person in society? Why?
For the wine.
Not only. For everything.
Let me ask you, going back, what would you consider, just looking back at all this process, the wines you get crafted, what would you consider your best moments, your most creative moments? Whether be it in the lab, or be it in the farm, or be it in the bottling process? What would you single out as like your best wines or your best discoveries?
My best wine. I'm thinking that I have 3 good moments in my career. The first one was my PhD graduation, because it was very difficult. I was running my PhD, at the same time was working in industry. So I was running around, I had a PhD to study, to make my experiments. So that was a very good moment for me. The second one is the creation of Cabernet Blanc de Noir 5 years ago. A very special, a unique wine, producing first time in Greece, and I was the 3rd producer in the world. The second one was in South Africa, and the third crazy one, was in California. So we are 3 crazy winemakers now. The third was the first time I've been in public to represent my research in a World Congress of Biotechnology, Food Bioprocessing, in Patras, 2006. That was, for me, a very good feeling to go for first time, to represent in a very specific audience, scientists, huge scientists from all over the world, your research. That was the 3 moments.
Okay.
Good moments.
I'm personally familiar with the second one. Okay, let's get some questions from the audience, and then I have a couple of more I would like to ask you later. Please.
You mentioned before that small industries, small wineries, they are not profitable, or for people they don't make profit.
Well, yeah.
I think this is mainly because of their target, as you said. If they have wine as passion and they don't want to commercialize this passion, they're not profitable. But on the other hand, we have some of the most profitable small wineries worldwide. Some of the smallest wineries worldwide, but on the other hand, they are
very profitable.
Yes.
If you see the small wineries that are very profitable, you can see the persons. Let's talk about an example. Γεροβασιλείου. It's a very popular winery all over the world. This year was the third year, was the first winery in Europe. Okay, voted that is the first winery in Europe. Why? Because Vangelis Γεροβασιλείου is an agriculturist working at Porto Carras for several years before starting to create his own vineyard and his own small winery. That means that the people who have already worked in the wine industry and start to create small wineries, they know how the traps, can I say it, during the path of to create a new wine, know how the people react to the new product. They know how the new product can be and how the new product must be. Okay, so they know the secrets from the inside part. If you see all the other wineries, because imagine that at the end of 1992, the wineries in Greece was about 30 to 40. Okay. Between 1992 and 2005, the wineries in Greece, and now it's 685. Why?
Must be some profit. So
Profit only?
not only, but if we are not profitable, we won't invest, let's say.
No. It's more.
EU funding.
Exactly. EU funding. Self-promotion.
To the wineries, they get the EU funding.
Connected to tourism as well.
Exactly. In Santorini in 1992 was only one winery, Boutaris, and Synthetismos. Now in Santorini there are 20. Where in Santorini? With what wines? So if those wineries go and said after 1 year, no, we're not profitable, we're losing money every year. Of course you are losing money because you are in an island with the whole vineyards are 100 hectares and you are 20. Or you can create wine from seaweed. That's a solution. We can make a research how you create a wine or alcohol from seaweed. In US they produce bioethanol from seaweed. Okay, so we can start to produce bioethanol in Santorini and all the islands of Aegean to drink it. That's a solution. I mean, it's a curtain. You need to see behind the curtain to find why. That I said before. Why?
So let me just build on that. So you mentioned, for example, domain Γεροβασιλείου. So you said that you have someone who has a very intimate understanding, very penetrating understanding of the market, the industry, the process, and all of that serves to make the right move to create your small sector for vineyard and
Exactly.
Right. Okay. For many people in recent years, that comes close to the type of the development example that they would like to see for several sectors of the Greek economy, so that it's small, because it's very difficult to have very large scale.
Exactly.
So it's a small scale, but very innovative, very high quality. You know,
With new technologies, new products.
So do you see that happening besides Γεροβασιλείου, as you mentioned one example?
Yeah. For me, it's the only solution for us, for the new generation. Because I'm traveling in the countryside a lot, because the wineries are not in the main parts. We don't have winery in the central, of Athens or in Thessaloniki. All this in the countryside. I think the only solution that we have now, and under these circumstances, financial crisis and all this, is to return to cultivate the earth. because the Greeks as a country, as a countryside, have many things to give us. Not only for viticulture or create wines, for everything. Cereals, new products, like, I don't know the English word.
Where do you sell your wine?
In Greece, of course, in Japan, US, Germany, starting now in London. That's good. That's all.
Can you go back a little bit? I want to ask what led you up to creating the Black de Noir, the Black de Noir Cabernet? What was the basic idea? I mean, it's a very for those of you, it's white wine made
from
out of the Cabernet.
red grape white.
It's very so. What was the inspiration?
It was the craziest idea that I had ever had. Okay. Because I've been in Georgakopoulos estate. It was a very new.
Which is located
in Fthiotida, up to Thermopyles, in the mountain of Anopea. Okay, Mendenitsa, it's the village there. It's the only winery in the whole area. Okay, so I had to run a new winery, brand new winery. 2006 was the first wines released in the Greek market. So I needed to make it famous fast. To put it in the Greek market, start sales, so the winery to have some income. So I was thinking we had 10 hectares of red wines, 14 hectares of red grapes, Cabernet and Syrah, and 6 hectares of white grapes. The balance was because the red wines need to go to the bile, mature for 1 or 2 years. That means lots of money. So I was thinking how to make this winery very fast, very famous, and the people know it for some reason. So I think to create the Cabernet Blanc de Noir. I was looking to find some literature from, university, UC Davis or Bordeaux. Or I found only a few titles from South Africa, and winery in South Africa produce only 12,000 bottles per year of Blanc de Noir, and another crazy person who produced 5,000 bottles of Pinot Noir and 7,000 bottles of Cabernet Blanc de Noir in Napa Valley, in Fresno. So I tried to contact them, no answer, because perhaps they think another crazy people like us. I started to produce it, and the winery been famous in 6 months. That's the reason of creation.
Did you make it for the second year in a row?
Yeah. I made it now, but not for a lot of people, because looks like the French Jura type of wines, which wines produced with the flow, the yeast cultivated at the upper part of the wine, so give some aromas, different aromas, and some heavy aromas. So I have customers, only 1,000 customers who drink it. So I produce it only for them. Friend, a company of crazy people who drink Blanc de Noir from Cabernet Sauvignon. It was a marketing, huh? It was exactly marketing.
So now you produce other varieties?
Now I'm a consultant for 7 wineries in Greece, and I'm producing my own wines. I'm making wine from 18 different varieties, and I'm creating 42 different brand names with 1 variety on blending in Greece, starting from Ikaria up to Sciatista. You know what is
Like, just tell us a bit the brands. So,
the brand?
yeah, just the.
It's
so
Afianes wines in Rachis Ikaria. There we have two varieties, Begleri and Fokiano. Begleri is an Asian Greek variety, cultivated only in the island of Ikaria. Then I've been in Evia. In Jasmine Artin wines, we have Savatiano, Logothetis, Grenache, Sauvignon Blanc, Chardonnay, Malagousia, Moscato Riu, Syrah, Cabernet, Merlot. They are producing my own wines in this winery. Oh, Assertico, I forget Assertico. Then we've been Ganis, Vaios Ganis. It's in Domokos. There we have Πλητό, Αγιοργίτικο, Ξινόμαυρο, Gewürztraminer, what else? Logothetis. Okay. Then in Ludas, Konstantinos Ludas in Kalabaka. There we have Moscato Hamburgu, Ξινόμαυρο, Logothetis, Sauvignon Blanc, Assertico. Sorry. In Sciatista. There we have Ξινόμαυρο, Μοσχόμαυρο, Pinot Noir, Sauvignon Blanc, Gewürztraminer, Malagousia, and Riesling. And in Lafiotis in Nemea, where we have Moscofilero, Logothetis, and Agioργίτικο.
But don't work alone. I suppose you have a group of people.
Alone.
Alone?
All by myself. I have one Oenologist from last year, Maria Katsiou is her name, it's Oenologist, and working with me the last year. And I gave her the two northern parts wineries, which is Sciatista and Kalabaka, under my supervision. But I'm running.
So you do have pretty much kind of a portfolio career, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you are the business, you are the profession, and you have all these different wineries and you go, and you have to just run around and. But there's something. just about the experience. Many of these places you are family businesses, they're family owned. And I remember from my years in South Africa that some of the most unhappy people I've met are the Oenologists going to these some small farms with the family issues. So how does it work for you? Do you get inside this kind of family life of the winery?
I'm
So
getting
how does it
inside,
feel?
and I'm trying to guide them in the market about the prices, about the type of wines, about the brand names, where they can focus, and which varieties to produce 2 or 3 mainstream wines, and to have another one which be the brand name of the winery. Okay. But they are very happy people because they are small industries between 40,000 to 70,000 bottles per year. That's small production. They can earn some money to live, good money, because if you count that perhaps Afianes, which is the smallest winery in Ikaria, produce about 20,000 bottles and can earn 30,000 euros from his own winery, living in Ikaria. Okay. On the other hand, Lafiotis in Nemea, it's a winery producing 4.8 million bottles per year. Million. It's a huge winery. It's a profitable winery.
This Begleri that you mentioned is really an indigenous ancient variety. So he's been there for what, 4,000 or 5,000 years? So how does it feel to? I mean, my work has to do with some things that are really, as concepts that are new. You work something that has been around for all this time in the same way. How does it feel? Or it doesn't make a difference. It's just a grape.
Just a grape, a new grape that you need to know each other. You know, it's a two-way relationship with the grapes. You need to talk to the grape wine.
So what do you say to the grape when you talk?
Come on, give it something to me
Please tell us,
to
that's-
do
that's-
something. No, look, every vine, I mean, in the vineyard, if you see the vines, they can talk to you. They have some signs that ask you for water, or they need to go and cultivate between the rows, because how you call it? Αγριόχορτα. Weeds. You need to cut them down. Perhaps they need to let them more leaves, because it's a very dry season with a lot of sun and high temperatures. They can talk to you. If you go and see the shape of the leaf, the color of the leaf, if they have new leaves, so everything is going to be fine. But if they getting yellow or red, something the grapes need, the vine needs to grow up the grapes. So we have a with sign relationship. Okay, but you need to be in the grapevine every day, almost. You can cultivate the grapes from the internet or by phone. You need to go there and be there 2, 3, 4 times perhaps, depending on the season, in the grapes. And of course you need to be every day in the winery. For me as a consultant, I have workers, I have colleagues. It's winemakers, because I've been there for a visit, for example, tasting the tanks, depending on the variety, and we reschedule our plans about the specific wine. And I'm writing down what the winemaker can do after that, after my visit, and keep me posted what he's doing in the winery every day, by emails, by phone me. Okay, I'm going to do that. You need something different? Okay, go ahead and call me when you finish to tell you what you're gonna do tomorrow. It's an open. My cell phone never closes. It's 24 hours per day, open for everyone. My emails, I'm taking my emails from my phone, from my iPad, and from my laptop in home. So anyone who wants to reach me, he can find the way to reach me and talk to me or send me an email or text me for some reason. Okay. And my planning, and my visits now, after 18 years of experience, it's quite different than 9 years ago. Okay, because now I know the varieties, I know the wines, I know the winemakers, I know the problems in the vineyards, I know the problems of the winery as an industry, about the tanks, about the electricity, about the freezing machine, about everything. So the path is easier for me to manipulate it. So
So I was trying to ask, apparently in Greece, I'm not an expert, but you can only grow certain grapes, and apparently there was a lot of innovation with technology and growing in order to turn those grapes that weren't very good in winemaking before into new types of breeds, similar to like in South Africa that they did with the pinotage and things like that. Could you go on about like the innovation process, or how to come up with the new ideas in order to take something that's average and turn it into what the whole world needs?
yeah. You're talking about the product wine, or are you talking about the vines as well?
I suppose both.
Because going together, you know, during the 80s in Greece, let me give you a historical path. During the 80s in Greece, of course, at the early 90s, in Greece, 19th century, the early 19th century in Greece, we had 1,235 different grapevines, different varieties in all around Greece. So keep that number, 1,235. Okay. Now, after 120 years, okay, we have 15. Why is that? During 17 and 80s, of course, the winemaking in Greece was a traditional way. I mean, You go to a tavern, have the big barrels, gives you their own wine. Even now happening, don't take a bottling wine, we have our wine. My grandfather cultivated the grapes. Okay, so during 70s and 80s was a state policy to cut out the Greek varieties and cultivate the national varieties, and especially French, because they think that that will help the wine industry to go easier to the national market and to the global market. So the Greeks, farmers, starting to take out the Greek varieties and start to cultivate Sauvignon Blanc, Chardonnay, Merlot, Syrah, Cabernet, Cabernet Franc, Pinot Noir, and that's all. If we have some Greek varieties now, it's because some people resist to this policy. And they said, okay, we are going to continue and cultivate our varieties. What is happening now in the 2 last years is that we are trying to go back to find the old varieties, starting again experimental cultivation to see what our varieties can give us. So about the innovation, about the research, it's difficult to make research with Cabernet Sauvignon because the French have already made it 400 years ago. So to propose something new, what? The only thing that you can do is to change something, details and the process of producing, perhaps of using different barrels, make, for example, clear extraction in red grapes, something like that. If you don't have the unique Greek varieties cultivated for 200 years, 300 years before, to have a base, start the research how you can create a new product very attractive to the worldwide consumers, you can do that. That's why Malagousia, you can see if you follow Malagousia, Malagousia was cultivated in 3 places in Greece 8 years ago. Okay, now every winery, not every, the 90% of the wineries in Greece, they have Malagousia. You know why? Because the Americans want a Greek variety except of Assyrtiko, Rhodyti, Savatiano, white. So they ask for Malagousia. What else you have? We said Malagousia. Okay, give us Malagousia. So everyone now start to cultivate Malagousia.
So, but innovation, you see, I think, Stan, the question was about innovation. You said, well, you have to go backward in a way.
Yeah.
The old varieties. Okay, that's one of the secrets, is that there's this kind of seemingly part.
Example, a very unique example is Icaria.
Yeah.
In Icaria, they don't follow, and now they have the 2 old varieties, 2 only. Begleri is white and Focano. 2 varieties. And they said, we don't want Cabernet Sauvignon in our wines. We don't want Sauvignon Blanc in our wines. We need Begleri. We want Begleri. And they win. I mean, the winery is sold out from March. I mean, this year, it's already sold out, and we are planning the sales for the next year.
I can bet my reputation, it's fantastic. I've already tried, it's very good. Okay.
I think the next meeting will need to be a wine tasting.
Please.
Yeah. Yeah.
That the best part of the Greek wine production is being exported, right? Stay with the country, or I guess people try to sell it abroad.
Can you start again, please, your question?
The question is, I assume, it's an assumption.
Yeah,
The best
okay.
part of the Greek wine production is being exported, right?
No.
No.
The worst part of Greek production exported.
All right. So then I assume that the target should be that the best part should be exported.
No.
The target, I say.
The target should be.
Shouldn't we target
Yeah.
the best part goes abroad?
Yeah, of course.
Right. So is it a matter of capacity? The Greek country is
Small
we have
country.
a given, we have set borders.
Yeah.
So is it a matter of capacity, or do Greeks don't have any incentive to work and try and export? Or is it that our wine is not, it's just not very good?
No, the wines are very good.
All right.
Okay.
So why don't
We
why
don't
we
have.
export more? Don't we have the support, the incentives? What is it?
Okay, I'm going to answer you with U.S. phrase that the American citizens say about the Greeks. Give a Greek an inch to give you back a mile. You know what it means? That means that we don't want to export our best wines. We want to export the worst wines to have better profit. The best wines, we keep it for the Greek market. Why? Because we can sell, I think 2 years ago, but now, because now it's not happening this, because we can sell to the Greeks a wine of 80 euros in the price of 20, and the Greeks will buy it. No one in US will buy 20 euros, that means with taxes about $42, $44 a Greek wine. No one. And the other part is that in export procedure, we are going to find the Greek people having the restaurants, the sellers. We are not going to make agreement with the Germans, with the Americans, with big American company. And it's not about capacity.
So it's a matter of marketing.
It's a matter of marketing. Marketing and behavior. Self-marketing and self-promotion. Not self as individuals, as country.
Because I assume, again, that if we all live in the same crisis in Greece, and we all agree that we need to shift from the way we operate into primary operation,
Exactly.
Operation and production. Wine should be the number one, and oil, I guess. So what stops us from that? I don't really get it. I mean, we have good wine, we have we grow. We have, you say that we have more producers every year.
Going, yeah.
So it's just that we're not very good at marketing, or we don't have support, or is it like do we have any barriers from the EU?
No, no barriers for EU. It's a self-buyers. We are putting our buyers because we don't have support. And what means support? From whom? Okay, what means support? If you go in France or in Italy or go in Portugal or in Spain, which is new countries, new entries in the world market of wines, okay, you can see in every area a university and a research center. That is support. Here in Greece, everyone is alone. I mean, what you're thinking to do tomorrow, you're gonna do it. Right or wrong? You don't have the support, the scientific support, not from the state. I don't like to talking about the state all the time, but we need to have support. Second one is what we are thinking about the wines and the product. We want to be the best of the best in 1 month. You can do that. You need to walk. 1 year ago, it was the first time that the big wineries and the state decide to go and promote the Greek wines. If you can see the signs, the big signs in the airport, new wines of Greece, follow Greece, follow their wines, okay? It's the new way of promotion, organized promotion in US. But what they do now is to go again to the Greeks. Greek restaurants, Greek market, you know what it means? Greek attitude. We don't need that to export our wines or export our products. We need to get to know each other with different type of marketing, different type of persons, different type of societies. More organized. I mean, okay, I'm always using this example. I've been in Scotland for 16 years. You know that it's Scotland as a state, the profit from malt whiskies, it's 20% higher than the oil. Because we knew that the British Petroleum, BP, it's not British Petroleum, it's Scottish Petroleum. Scotland have the oil, sell it to England. And the Scottish earn more money, 20% more money from the malt whiskies than from the oil. That means marketing, organization, marketing, promotion, organized promotion. Here in Greece, we are alone.
So do you offer that kind of services?
Mm-hmm.
Like taking 20 or 30 varieties and take them to national...
Yeah, for my opinion, we need to go back again. We need to find our unique way to promote our unique products. We have a lot of things to promote. We are blessed.
It's not only a question of marketing, it's a question of going back to kind of a more clear and clearly identified identity.
It's a marketing.
But you were talking about also the grapes and the
Yeah,
types of wines. So
exactly.
it's not only a question of promotion.
Mm-hmm.
It goes back, if I understand well,
Yeah.
selecting what type of wines to grow. What type of
Again,
varieties.
yeah. We know what is the old varieties of Greece. We know all these varieties. We need to start cultivating again to have an open door in the world market. Like Begleri. Begleri, they call us from China. They call us from Norway. A Belgian guy goes now, because we've been in Paris, in Cial, a huge exhibition about foods and wines. And a Belgian guy come with a huge cellar in Belgium, and for us, come for 1 day trip to find us, asking about Tama, which is the sweet Focano, the price, and go back and send us an email that we are interested to buy it, sell us it. I mean, people in other countries, they have a big interest about Greek products.
Excuse me, allow me to interrupt you. See, the way now you're answering this is you're saying all of a sudden, you have this global market, you have people who are searching for the wine that they like at the price that they like. So that certainly gives you the chance, you, personally, to really navigate your way through and sell your wines. And so it doesn't sound to me that it is so complicated always. It has to do with whether you have the scientific support. I mean, you are the scientific support of yourself, right?
Yeah.
You know this. So it seems to me that it's more optimistic, the scenario that you're describing here.
Yeah. If you see in one way.
No, I'm just trying to compare, to contrast what you're saying. It's a different thing to talk about the country, but the question was really about the wines. So when you talk about the wines and selling them, promoting them, it sounds that you have found the channels of promotion and sales in the world market. So in a way you did it. Yeah.
But if I had a Greek varieties, imagine that I'm selling Chardonnay and Malagousia blending and Cabernet and Syrah in US. A Greek Cabernet and Syrah blending in US. If I had perhaps Mavro Arachovis, a red Greek variety cultivated in Parnassos 80 years ago, and Agorgitico, the doors will be more open than for me and getting more easier to the market. Two Greek varieties, not well known about the global market, good prices, very good wines, easier to sell it. That's the way that we need to act now as a country, not only for the wines.
Of course, now as a mode of okay. I want to ask you just who would you consider the most innovative wine estates and winemakers in Greece right now?
I have a lot.
Just like to give us a couple of examples.
No.
Connect to the previous question.
About wineries, about winemakers, about Oenologists.
You choose.
Okay, about winemakers. Of course, Vangelis Georgivasiliou. Okay, it's one. Working a lot about his products. Another one is Alexakis making the difference in Crete. Huge winery, but working in research about the varieties in Crete, traditional varieties in Crete. Gavalas in Santorini, one of the best. Centilini Cosmetatos, Petros Cosmetatos, which is a winemaker in Kefalonia. Young person, researcher, fighter about the island. What else? Yeah, of course, Yannis Paraslivopoulos, which is a professor of Oenology in TI as well. That's all.
Please.
How can you recultivate the wine that has been disappeared years ago?
It's hard. It's very hard. You need to travel around Greece. If you are lucky to find an old person who you usually cultivated this variety, tell you where was the vineyard then, go and make some research, and perhaps you can find the DNA of this grape and cultivate it in vitro, or give it to big industries like In Vitro. It's an industry who produce wines in Italy to reproduce this variety. Or you can go and find it by yourself. Mean to talk with the people again, and if you are like, you can find a vine and take it again and cultivate it by yourself. Because in Greece we don't have banks. Not banks with money, vine banks, DNA banks. But, in France, you can find a lot of Greek varieties. It's true. In Australia and in New Zealand was the first planting of Assyrtiko and Xenomavro this year. They start to cultivate Xenomavro and Assyrtiko in Australia and New Zealand.
In comparison to?
Comparison to Italy, South Africa, France, Spain.
Greek wines are expensive in comparison to French wines.
Mm-hmm. If you go to Bordeaux, you can find wines. Terrific.
Okay. Thank you very much for coming.
Thank you very much.
Happy birthday.